I remember what I know now is anxiety and depression. The first time I ever felt it, I was about 6 or 7. And at 6, I should be playing with baby dolls and that sort of thing. And that wasn't the case. I was just always very anxious and sad. From the time I was 12 uh, till the time I was 18, 19, I ran wild. I mean, I did things that no 12 or 13-year-old should do. I started doing meth when I was 13. And I continued to use until I got pregnant with my oldest. And I stopped while I was pregnant. As soon as I found out I was pregnant, I stopped. And I thought, oh, okay, I can do this. But life was so crazy. I mean, I couldn't collect thoughts. I didn't know how to manage the depression, anxiety. It was something that had never been diagnosed. So it was just going through life trying to figure this out. And I was a new mom. And so inevitably she was 8 weeks or so old, and I went right back to it. Things just continued to spiral out of control. My boss had just bugged me to go to church or let her to take my girls. And I thought, yeah, that's not for us. And well, I finally agreed because the girls were like, yeah, that sounds fun. They do little games and earn little patches and different things for their verses. And so they would come home and they would be singing the worship songs and they would be learning the scriptures and wanting me to sit down on the floor with them. That's really how God first started to get a hold of my heart, was through those worship songs and through those scriptures. I'll never forget, because I was sitting there and out loud, I'm teaching them their verses and going through that. But inside, all I could think about was getting high. And immediately, I don't know what it was that one of the girls said, or if it was one of the words of the scripture, but it was as if God came down and audibly spoke to my heart and shook me. It was like, what are you doing? I called you to be a mom, and a good mom, and a woman after my heart. And I was nowhere even close to that. I mean, for a good decade at least, I had spent running, chasing drugs, chasing guys, just everything but what I should have been looking to. God was there the whole time. I just had all this other stuff piled on top to where I couldn't even see him. And so when I was looking in places for that love and that peace and that acceptance, it was like whatever was right in front of my face, that's what I ran to, because it was an immediate fix, and that's what I was used to. When he shook me that day, it was on a Tuesday. I remember it so vividly. And the next day, on a Wednesday, the girls would usually go to their little Bible thing, and they just asked me, Mom, please come. I was like, okay. Yeah, there was no, like, before how I would immediately think when I would hear about God or church or anything to do with that. I was like, nope, that's not for me, that's not, But this time when they're like, Mom, please come, I'm like, okay. I'll never forget going into that class, and, they prayed with me, and I just remember almost immediately that peace and that love that I had just spent years chasing, it was there. And it was like, oh my goodness, no drug could ever do that, because it wasn't that numbing sense that I didn't have to feel my emotions. It was almost overwhelming, because I was feeling these good emotions for the first time, like truly for the first time that I can ever remember. I think just to be reminded that we all have our struggles. It just, mine looked like addiction, and someone else's may look like something else. But just remembering that, we're not alone in this, and that hope is a lot closer than we realize.